Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the brand new Diadem Axis tennis racket. And Diadem has been coming onto the tennis scene very strong. They just signed Elina Svitolina, the former #3 player in the world, to a contract. And she happens to play with the Diadem Axis. I have two models here, the 100 and the 98. Svitolina plays with the 98 version. Now, one thing that's important to me is how a racket looks. And the Diadem Axis is one of the best looking rackets that I've ever seen. I love the orange accents throughout this racket. And in my Finding a New Tennis Racket series, I tested Diadem Nova, which was a power racket that I liked very much. And this racket right here is categorized as a spin racket. And if you pay close attention to how the frame is designed, you will see that the racket throat is a little bit thicker. And if you take a look at the edge of the racket, you can see that it's thinner than most rackets. So no racket will make topspin for you. You have to make topspin. But a racket can help you make topspin. So let's talk about topspin on the forehand and the backhand. It's gonna take place if you have a vertical swing path, which means that as you make contact, the racket has to go vertically across the ball, and the tip of the racket has to go on the right-handed forehand from right to left, and on the right-handed backhand is going to be from left to right. So with this thinner frame, as you're going up with the racket, you're going to have less wind resistance, and your ability to create topspin will increase. Now let's take a look at the specs, and we're going to start with the Axis 100. So the name reveals the head size is 100 square inches. The static weight is 300 grams. Regular length of 27 inches. It's 4 points headlight, and it has a stiffness rating of 64. The string pattern is 16 by 19, and the beam is quite thick, 23, 26, and 23 millimeter. So the frame is at its thickest at the 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock spot, and that adds to the responsiveness of this racket. Now, a lot of you guys are probably comparing this racket to the Babolat Aero, and I've tested this racket extensively over the last week. And while this is no doubt a power racket, it is more dampened compared to the Babolat Pure Aero. So if you're a player who likes this shape of the racket and you like the ability to generate spin, but the Babolat Pure Aero is too stiff for you, this racket doesn't feel as stiff as the Babolat Pure Aero. It has for sure a more dampened feel to it, but I still categorize the Diadem Axis 100 as a power racket. Now the Axis 98 is interesting. Obviously, the name reveals that the head size is a little bit smaller at 98 square inches. It's also a tad heavier, and it has a static weight of 305 grams. Just like the 100, it has a standard length of 27 inches. But compared to the 100, it's more headlight at 8 points. It is also interestingly more stiff, coming in with a rating of 68. It also has a 16 by 20 string pattern, which is different from the 16 by 19 on the 100. And most importantly, it has a thinner beam coming in at 21.5 millimeters, 23.5 millimeters, and 22 millimeters. So the specs are very different on these two rackets, but I find that both of these rackets are very similar. So because the 98 has a thinner beam, a tighter string pattern, and it is a tad heavier, it's naturally going to be less responsive compared to the 100. However, it is also more stiff with a 68 stiffness rating compared to a 64 stiffness rating. So both of these rackets are power rackets. But I will say that the 98 has a little bit more of a control feel to it. So if that's something that you prefer, if you're a player that prefers more of a classic beam, you might like the 98 a little bit more. So while these two rackets are more similar than you would think based off the specs, I would say that the 100 is a tad more responsive compared to the 98. However, both of these rackets have the same design, and both of these rackets have phenomenal speed when you swing the racket in a spin swing path. So if you're attempting forehand topspin, backhand topspin, both of these rackets are going to feel great. If you're attempting a slice serve or a kick serve, both of these rackets are going to feel great. Personally, my slices with both of these rackets felt phenomenal, because even on the slice you're going to have more of a downward swing path, and the shape of the racket is going to help tremendously. Now, I happen to be more of a flat ball striker, so I would have to redesign my ground strokes in order to benefit from these rackets. But if you're someone that has topspin strokes, these rackets are going to be great. And if you are someone that wants to learn how to play with spin, these rackets are going to be great as well. Now, one interesting thing about both of these rackets is the way the string bed is designed. See, the classic tennis racket had the tightest part of the string pattern in the center of the racket. But the Diadem Axis has moved the tightest part of the string bed from the center of the frame up 3 strings to match where modern player strikes the ball. So where contact is established on the string bed is something we're going to discuss in future videos. But one thing that I will tell you is that on the serve, the contact with the ball is not established optimally right in the center of the string bed. It is optimally established slightly above the center of the string bed. And I can tell you that when I tried both of these rackets, the sound that the racket was making on my serve was better than any racket that I ever tried. Which tells me that this is a high quality frame, that this is a responsive frame, but it also tells me that the sweet spot on the serve is exactly where it needs to be. So guys, if you're interested in purchasing the Diadem Axis racket, I want you to click on the link in my pinned comment, and I want you to type in coupon code INTUITIVETENNIS15, and you're gonna get 15% off on your purchase. By the way, my coupon code is not only valid for this racket, it's for the entire Diadem website. I'm a big supporter of Diadem. They make some great products, which I'm going to review in future videos. That's the Diadem Axis 98. Okay. Hit a few shots with it. Okay, one more. And here's the Diadem Axis 100. Let me know what you think. What do you think? First opinion.
I like the first one better.
You like the first one better?
Yeah, it felt more compact.
Because it's a tad heavier. That one is 305 static weight. That one's 300 static weight.
Yeah.
And it's got a little thinner beam. I think it's a little bit more what you're accustomed to. Which one of these you felt easier access to spin? The 100 or the 98?
This one. I felt more connected to the ball.
Interesting. See, I felt the opposite. I felt a little bit more access to spin with the lighter one. But both of them are nice rackets for sure.
I like this one.
You like the 98 better?
Yeah, it felt smooth.
Interesting.
Yeah.